All right. Thank you very much for showing up to the webinar today, guys. This is 48 things your website needs to attract more clients now. So this is going to be a lot of items coming at you. I don't want you to get intimidated or anything like that. This is going to you should have your workbook, and your workbook has every one of these with a little bit of detail added to each one. You are going to need that, or at least want to have it with you. And if you don't have that, I would definitely recommend having a piece of paper and a pen as we go through this. So let's make sure you're in the right spot right now, because I'd hate for you to, be in the wrong spot. So basically, if your goal is to monetize your website, if you basically need more leads, more conversions, which ultimately becomes better revenue, then this is for you. This is for you if you want to have some more knowledge and resources to build a better website, like immediately, then this would be for you. And then finally, if you do want to have a solid understanding of proven elements that are inside of a successful website, these are all examples of high producing websites, either conversion factors or money or anything like that, total revenues. That's what this is coming back to. So as we go through these slides, I highly recommend that you take notes. And some of these items I talked to you about, they're going to be able to come back and they're going to be resources that you might want to Google and study certain people that are really, really good marketers. Some of them are going to be just a resource that will help you possibly change the direction of how you view marketing your company in general. So keep that in mind. Also, as we go through this, not every one of these 48 are going to be for you, but if you walk away with 2, 3, 10, 10 or 11, whatever, any number of them that adds a point or two or five conversions, meaning out of every 100 people that come to your site, if you're able to get one extra opt-in or two extra opt-ins a day or five, which convert to more appointments, and then that turns into more revenue. That's the goal here. So please don't forget that one or two ideas out of these 48 or more, I'm just being conservative, they will affect you how much in a month or a year or 10 years. So we're going to keep time as a factor when we talk traffic and conversions because people underestimate that. All right? So here's some common misconceptions about websites. One is too expensive, at least to have it done properly, which you'll see after we go through this, that's not the case at all. That they don't work, that everything's in social media right now. Well, that's, again, not quite true because more money is made not just from e-commerce through websites, but from the services that websites can sell. If you're a financial planner, if you're a consultant, if you're a doctor, no matter what industry you're in, that's something to keep in mind. Some people believe that it's only for large corporations like the Fortune 500 or 1000s. I would highly, highly criticize that belief system because that's not how it is right now at all. Um, there's, this is a powerful tool that will get people to know, like, and trust you. And remember, before any sale is being made, the power of influence is being done psychologically into your ability to leverage that trust, the credibility, the authority. All that is done through a properly designed and optimized website. So keep that in mind as well. And that your customers don't look at your pages. Well, again, that's something that I've heard multiple times, and that's just simply not the case. Your online presence doesn't affect what customers think. That is something that I think you'll see as we go through this. That's not the case. So, if any of these are your existing belief systems, I challenge you to just keep an open mind as we go through this. And one more thing to think about is because once we get going on this, it's going to get going quickly. But keep this in mind. Um, if you think, oh, I already know that, or something like that, it's so easy to dismiss the power of that technique or that feature in this case. But I would challenge you to reinforce it. Like, oh, I already know that, I've heard that, but I haven't thought about that, or I haven't implemented that in my page yet. So I would keep that kind of a learning mentality as we go through. All right. Now, thank you very much for showing up. This is a huge step in the right direction. I promise you, you're going to get something powerful out of this. But if you do happen to stay till the end, you're going to get a copy of the PowerPoint slides that we're going to go through. You're also going to get, which you already have, the workbook, the 13 pages. And then also I have a Cliff Notes version. It's only 2 pages, but it has all 48 lined up. So you can print that out, put it by your computer, or put it in your action planner, or whatever you do for yourself and your business, and you can have it all right there. So you can take your notes as we're going through it and get that. But one more thing that I would love to give you is this very special website critique consultation. It is so much more powerful to have an outside view looking in of what's going on, and how like a coach, like a coaching environment where I can see something that someone's doing that they couldn't see themselves from first person. So a second point of view from a different angle is very important. So we're going to be offering that to anyone who does stay until the end. So keep that in mind. Now, Biz Central USA, just a little bit about our company. We have served over 30,000 clients nationwide. And in the 30,000 clients, we've built over 1,000 websites in the past 13 years. So to make a long story short, we know a thing or two about how to optimize and build a converting website. It's a lot more than just a cool, sexy look. There's a lot more elements, as we'll soon see. All right. We are headquartered in Orlando, Florida, and we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. And me, who am I? You're probably wondering who's talking to you right now. My name is Tim Schreider, and I am the marketing manager at Biz Central. On top of that, I have trained with Dan Kennedy's company, GKIC, and been in their peak performance group. I've been with training with them for 10 years. And then also I've got my DMHQ, the Digital Marketer Headquarters certifications. I've got one in conversion funnel and one in content marketing. And these are basically they've helped me out with so much. I love Digital Marketer. They're an incredible resource to learn from. So we're going to go through, and you're going to be able to notate their website so you can possibly start learning some of their techniques as well, because they're incredible. But let's focus. So it's so easy to get distracted in today's environments. So please, if you do have something going on, let's try to turn your cell phones off. I would recommend you to do that. Close your browsers, close Facebook. You don't want to be messaging right now. What if we go over something that could have a dramatic impact on your financial future? Please just think about it from that point of view. Also, if you haven't yet, please print your workbook out. That's going to be a major tool as we go through this. You should have it already in your email, because the same link that got you here was there to download. And then grab a pen, and here we go. So, I love this picture right here. Have you ever felt like this whenever you're at either some type of training or reading a new book or something of any type of extreme value? A lot of information can feel way overwhelming. I just don't want you to feel this way. Please remember, if you stay to the end, you're going to get the slides. You already have the notebook. I'm just going to go through some real world examples with you, and possibly give you some insights. On top of that, you're going to get the checklist, also the Cliff Notes version. And we are also going to set you up with a 1 hour or 30-minute website critique. So that's going to be a huge, huge tool. So I encourage you to stay to the end. So let's get going. All right, number 1, social media invitations. This is very common sense. A lot of these are going to be common sense, but this one is so under leveraged. You would be surprised if you're posting blog content, if you have a video that you put on your homepage explaining what your service is or whatever it could be. So many times people forget to just have a share feature or a widget from WordPress that will allow them to share it on Twitter or YouTube or anything like that. The big 4 or 5, you know. Keep in mind that is something that is very, very important. Number 2, professionally designed logo and header. I use Starbucks as an example. This is, again, very common sense, but the power of a professionally designed logo, it's unbelievable because it makes someone feel comfortable. It makes them feel that, remember, everything we're going to talk about today, for the most part, is feeling because we're humans. And Joe Sugarman said in the book Triggers, he said, humans buy with emotion and they justify that sale with logic. So keep in mind, we're going to talk a lot about feelings. So it's going to help someone feel more comfortable and make a decision to take action, whether it's to opt in or to buy or to just get something like an ebook or whatever you're giving away on the list. The way it's designed and makes them feel is a tremendous motivating factor to if you're going to get their business or not. And it all starts with a simple email many times. So keep that in the back of your head. Easy to navigate. I used Amazon for this example because I think that no matter if you're looking at your account, your past orders, if they give you recommended, or if there's a deal of the day, or if you want to look at, like I have a business account, for example, and if you want to get your business um, um, I'm sorry, your business like your past order history, basically. No matter what you want to do in Amazon, it is highly organized, easy to navigate, easy to go from screen to screen, and you always will never get lost because you just hit the home button. So regardless how your website is built, if it's easy to navigate, people are going to spend more time on it because they feel comfortable and they don't feel overwhelmed or lost. So keep that in mind. Interaction and comments. This is one of those resources I was telling you about. Social Media Examiner. Write that down, Social Media Examiner. You're going to want to go there and sign up. As you can see, it says join 450,000 of your peers. This is a very big list. A lot of those people are digital marketers or social media marketers, and they have really, really, really good techniques and articles and even courses that you can pay extra money for to learn from. But it's the cutting edge, it's the best of the best, it's what's the newest and freshest techniques. So I highly recommend you get that. This particular example is notice how the chat feature, this is at the bottom of an article. I just scrolled down and I took a screenshot of it. But this right here is how people can have the ability to comment on articles. And again, this is nothing new, but I had to go to 4 other pages, 4 other blogs before I could even find this feature. So keep this in mind as interaction and comments, because if one person, like this guy Joe Clark at the top, if Joe Clark was to post a comment like he did, everyone on Joe's, timeline is going to see that. And, it can go, that's how things go viral. So you're missing out on potential connections in social media by not having a feature like this. And again, that's for all platforms. So you might want to have, they have Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, so you can definitely keep to whichever ones you feel most comfortable in, but don't let this type of thing pass you up on your home page, on your services page, your About Us page, and especially a blog if you've got that. So next one is fresh and catchy content. Obviously, I went to Jimmy Fallon, the Late Show, or the Tonight Show, I'm sorry. So think about it. Every night he's got some fresh and catchy thing coming on. It's the newest and freshest stuff of whatever's going on in pretty much in entertainment in his industry. But I would recommend it, no matter what industry you're in, keep up. Make sure that whatever you're putting out there, whatever your homepage would say, it's relevant and it's fresh and it's catchy. Why? So people will want to not only feel comfortable on your page, but also want to share. So it all comes back to that comfort level, like I was talking about before. So the next one is a search field, obviously, Google, but This is something else to keep in mind. If you have a blog with many different posts, for example, or if you have videos or whatever your situation might be on your page, you want to keep it to where someone can put whatever a keyword is in a search field and find what they're looking for. How long do you think someone's going to stay on your page if they can't find what they're looking for? Exactly. So keep that in mind. You want to make it stupid simple for someone to get the information they want and get it quick. So keep that in mind as we're going through this as well. Next up is an inquiry form. Now I just Googled this, and you can do the same thing. Put like contact form PNG icon and then click on images, and I found this. And the whole thing is you want to make sure that not only do you have a contact us page with your phone number, your address, all the stuff that any other company would have, but you want to make sure that you have a way to capture comments and messages and things like this. As you can see, the basic information with a basic message. This goes a long way. So many people are used to giving information in this form, but they will not want to just open up and send an email. Don't ask me why, but the numbers are through the roof. If you were to look at Zendesk, for example, on their blog, they talk a lot about contact forms. So keep this in mind as another way to not just help conversions, but help people come back and address things that are questions or problems or concerns, something that you can solve, a problem of theirs that you can solve to earn their business and respect. And then the rest goes from there. Next up is a frequently asked or a questions page, FAQs. I use the DMV for this one. I think this is a great example. I actually recently, in April, I had my birthday, so I had to get my information updated for my tag, my sticker. So basically, I wanted to find out, and I found it all out because it was set up so properly and so well done. Depending on your industry, again, no matter what you need done, you should have the solution in a search field, like we talked about just a few questions ago, and then also your frequently asked questions. It will tremendously help you out with that. All right. Next is a list of awards or recognition, and this sounds common sensey. This is actually J.P. Morgan Chase. Their company, they have pages and pages of awards and recognition that not only they have won, but as a company, but also some of their employees have won internally. The reason this is important is because it's just another version of what's called social proof, basically a way for people to feel like, okay, this person is legit. They know what's going on. They're doing something in their own industry, especially, that's getting them recognized within their own industry, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind is if you do have awards or competitions or contests or anything like that that you've won, you want a way to display it on one of your pages, preferably an About Us page or something like that, because it goes a long way whenever someone's researching who you are. Um, Next up is our media page. Now, if you have been featured on media of any type or news or anything like this is an example I wanted to give. This is Ali Brown. Ali Brown, she is basically a big time marketer also, and I believe she was in The Secret Millionaire. I think I'm pretty positive she was in The Secret Millionaire. But this is her page that's all about media, and there's more if you were to scroll down, but I couldn't get the whole shot in. But she's been featured, as you can see, on a lot of those major channels and publications, and that does a lot. The more you can get your name and your image in the media, it's huge for what's called social proof. Social proof is just that. It's like, well, if they're good enough to be in this channel or on this news publication, then they must be good. It just does something to help you convert your new clients and prospects and visitors into paying customers. Again, depending on your niche, it's good for any niche. This is one of those fundamentals. All right. Next is competition. Get people involved. This is like with a giveaway. This is a sweepstakes that I found for Disney, and this was all about children that could or the moms, I guess, would be the ones to do it, but they can compete to get, a giveaway. And a sweepstakes, a giveaway, a contest, something like that, very, very, very good at social. So social media especially. But you can advertise it on your website. And please just keep that in mind, because the more in tune and in touch you are with your target market, the more they're going to spread it internally with their friends. And if you think about it, um, they are you are just like your best friend. So if you think about your top 4 or 5 friends, you guys have a lot in common. I'm willing to bet you've got more in common than not. So if I think about my best friends, I know that we are very similar in a lot of our belief systems. We've been friends for a long time. And if I were to do something, I would probably say, hey guys, check this out. Here's a contest I entered because of whatever reason. And they would most likely want to do it as well. This is the basics of viral marketing. So keep this in mind as we're going through this. Next up, top quality free downloads. This is a huge thing. This is right hand in hand with the law of reciprocity. If you think about it, look, this is an example of a free workout videos. They've got so many free videos that you have to search for them, and you have criteria that you can, have them search and ranking for. But this is also, they have downloads and PDFs and everything on this site. The amount of free information that you're willing to give up to someone to get their trust, to get their attention, to get their opt-in email or phone number, depending on your marketing, that is huge. So you need to constantly think, what am I willing to give away for free to get their attention and respect and time? That right there could trigger your success. The law of reciprocity is very powerful. Next up is relationships with relevant industry professionals. This is actually a guy named JT Fox. Basically, he's in the real estate industry, and he does a lot of live events. And he also networks with not just celebrities, but celebrities that are inside the real estate niche. So he loves to piggyback off of their authority. So and he brings with them. Sometimes people will come out to see him just because of who his guest is. So maybe there's a way that you have industry professionals or industry celebrities that you've already connected with and you have pictures with or a relationship with that you can use to your benefit to help grow your list, to help communicate whenever you're doing your emails every week, whenever you're basically telling the story about who your brand is. If there's anything like that, that's an asset. So bring that to the forefront and start using it. That should be on your website already. So take a note by that one. Next is contributor content. This is pretty simple. BuzzFeed is made up of people that are contributing their content. They're contributors. So that if you look at every article, it's by a different author, a different writer, somebody who's done research on different topics. So you've got all this content that's created by hundreds of different people over the years. So is there someone in your industry that you can have create a blog post, like a guest blog post? Is there a video that you can do? Is there a podcast you can be part of? Is there an interview of someone who's of authority that you can have them contribute to your content through interviewing with you? So just think about those ways to get connected to other people and other people's lists, because if you were to interview someone, for example, who's in your industry, you're going to have access to their list because they're going to want to share that with their list. So guess what? You're going to get warm introductions through that person. So that is why this is such a powerful tool. Community involvement. This is an example of the Ronald McDonald House. McDonald's started this decades ago. It changes lives all the time. It's incredible. So this is just one very big example of how community involvement can help you. What if you were going to dedicate your time or money to something in your community that is very close to your heart? What is something, whether it's like a drug addiction or pets or something with children or, just anything? There's so many. But the more you can get involved with the community, the more people are going to want to learn more about who you are because you're a very giving person if that's the direction you want to go and some of the things you want to do on your site. All right, next up is a newsletter. This is one of those that I would highly recommend you going and opting in for. A physical newsletter is one of the best things you can do to keep your tribe together as you're growing your community, your list, if you will. The Newsletter Pro, this is Sean Buck. Basically, he's got amazing content he gives out, a lot of it for free. This is an example of a book you can sign up for, and he'll send you for free, and he'll give you a lot of really good resources that are going to help you out. A lot of great common sense techniques and strategies and stuff. But a newsletter is something, even an e-newsletter on your homepage. I'm a fan of like naming it. I'm a fan of having it in sections and actually to the point where when you can build one to where if you don't send one out, then people are emailing you, hey, where's this week's newsletter? That's what you ultimately want. So I'm talking about a very fresh approach that's way beyond um, anything else that people are just putting out as a boring, vanilla, bland newsletter. Something more interesting and fun, if that makes sense. All right, membership option. This is Digital Marketing Lab. This is an example of a membership site of continuity in your business. I'm a firm believer that continuity should be in almost every single business. I was taught that way because I've seen so many industries that you're like, are you kidding me? There's no way to put it in there. But there's a lot of ways to do it and so many creative things that you can do. But membership option, there should be a membership option, paid or unpaid, but that's just another way for you to put a fence around the people that you're building called your tribe or your target market and starting like I said your community your following your list basically. So that's something, do not underestimate that, and if you were to put some time into creating this, it will pay off over and over again every single month. Live events. This is actually Dan Kennedy's live events page. Normally in April, he's got his super conference, and in November, he's got his info summit, which is for information marketers. And this is a live event that is so much fun. I mean, it's not cheap, I'll tell you that right now, but it's definitely fun. And if you have a live event, you should, if you don't, you should definitely start thinking about it. But if you do, you need to leverage it more and more and more because there's so much with a live event that you can use for content on your site and to have connection built with your visitors. Remember, you want to give them a reason to stick around and to click around and then to opt in. And this would be an amazing page to have. Next is optimized sign up offer. This is an example of a $5 off to sign up with your email. There's one more right here, Susie Orman. This is a free video series. So what are you currently giving someone to give you their email? What do you have? Hopefully it's something compelling and powerful that would encourage them to want to give their email and then to confirm that email, or at least to keep it white labeled where you can or whitelisted so that whenever you do send an email, it's not in spam. So keep that in mind. The direct, this is called a lead magnet actually. The amount of time and effort you put into building a strategic lead magnet is going to be enormous on your end results because this is going to help you with conversions, meaning out of every 100 people, how many are opting in with their email. So you want to have as many of them as possible because those turn into prospects, those turn into calls, those turn into appointments, and ultimately sales. And then testimonials and referrals after that. But it all starts with the lead magnet. Mobile app. There's so many companies these days that are starting with their own mobile app, and this is one that comes to mind, Walmart. If you look at all the different types of apps that Walmart uses and has, and people who go and shop at Walmart have created, I mean, it's amazing. So there's just so many you can do just for straight up shopping or scheduling or car pickup, just so think about what can you possibly do to either offer an app that's yours and create it, or in your industry, like if you're a mortgage broker or a realtor, you might want to have a mortgage payment app or something like that. Or if you're a car dealer, you might want to have an auto payment app or something, just something quick and easy. But that's just a random example, so keep that in mind. The use of testimonials. This is important because it's called social proof. And rather than talk about what I am good at or what I can do for you, and it sounds very like I'm bragging, I would rather have other people talk about what I can do for you and things like that. That's the biggest thing, is when you have other people talking and praising your services, that's what you want. This is an example of written testimonials. Here's an example of video testimonials. So it's much more powerful to get video testimonials because you can look in someone's eyes and you can see their passion and their excitement or their sincerity, and that emotion is so strong. Remember, we're still talking about emotions of people that are visiting your website. So this is a way to add compelling emotion to your site by adding video testimonials. Next is social widgets. This is actually Mary Smith's website, and she's got a Twitter feed inside of her Meet Mary page. Mary Smith is one of the highest paid and highest respected Facebook marketers on the planet. She's a very big deal. So I like to do whatever this woman does because it's going to get results. She wouldn't be doing it if not. So this is an example of how you can incorporate, a social media stream into your page, whichever page you'd like. But that's, again, one thing to consider. Next is a news feed. If you are in a financial industry or any other industry that has relevant breaking news every day, you might want to have a page on your site or a section on a page on your site that you can offer your visitors news. Again, if it's irrelevant for you, that's fine. But if it is relevant for you, don't underestimate a newsfeed. Webinars, just like you're learning here, and we're going through this together. That's one of the most popular ways to start learning and to have visitors to your site. This is Webinar Jam that I'm showing you right here. This is the platform we're using here. I highly recommend it. Very easy. And then also here's, again, Mary Smith. On her site, she offers live webinars and online video training programs. That's a lot of power whenever you have someone seek you out to train with you. And no matter your industry, if there's a way to work webinars in to get people pre-sold or on the appointments or whatever it might be, I highly recommend doing it because it does a lot of heavy lifting for you. And even if they don't decide to buy from you or talk to you, at least they have a great taste in their mouth of, you know what, I learned a lot from that. That was awesome. That's how I want everyone who listens to my webinars to feel. Again, talking about feeling. Great headlines for everything, number 25. This is Brian Tracy. If any of you have been around for a while in business, you know the name Brian Tracy. I just wanted to use this example. Look at it. Achieve all of your goals faster than you ever thought possible. I mean, that's a huge, strong headline. And then 14-day goal setting challenge. Create a plan of action to start reaching your goals immediately. That's strong. What do you want to improve today? So do you see the strength of these emotional headlines? This is a great example of what I'm saying. It takes time and technique to learn how to write strong, compelling headlines, but it is worth it because it helps with your conversion. It gets into the mind and the heart and the soul of the person that's visiting you. So don't underestimate that. Either learn how to do copywriting for yourself or pay someone to do it because that's something that you don't want to overlook. Exceptionally effective calls to action. Now, check this out. This is a guy named Russell Brunson. He has a company called ClickFunnels. Here he's offering a free book to get your opt-in information. All you do is pay shipping, and he gets your name, your email, your physical address, and I think your phone number also. But look at this in green, special offer. Click here. In red at the top, get your free copy of .com Secrets shipped in less than 7 days. And then blue on the side, get your free book. We pay for the book, you cover shipping. See, do you see those are strong calls to actions right there? How are your calls to actions on your items you're selling? Whether it's to get an appointment or if it's e-commerce, if you're selling something through the site, how is your call to action? And next, have you written a book? I'm going to stay on this page. He's using this as what's called a free plus shipping offer. He's doing a self-liquidating offer. This is an example of he's written this book, he's self-published it, and then the amount that you're paying for shipping is paying for the lead or for his sales team to follow up or just to email and follow up. So then if you go through this, then you're going to get upsold into something possibly. But my point is that there's a million ways you can do this technique. Have you read the book? What are you doing with that book? Have you thought about writing a book but need a little help? So think about that. This is a very, very big strategy. It does a lot for you when you think about writing a book. But if you have written a book or thought about it, you need to think, how can I put that on my website? How can I use that as a lead generating strategy? Here's another example. This is Malinchek. Oh my goodness. Oh, James Malinchek. Sorry, I forgot his name. But he's got his own book out. He was also on that show, The Secret Millionaire. And basically, this is a guy who basically has this book, and he does the exact same thing. And he actually offers a free course when you buy the book. So this is another way you can use a book you've written. Have you been featured on the news? This is a local company on Channel 9 News here in Orlando. Local company Stanley Steamer. This is an event that they have that's featured on the news website, and they can definitely be using this to promote their event more and more and more because the news has given them major exposure. Well, if you have been on the news, what are you doing with that newsreel? What are you doing with that page on the news website? Are you sharing it? Are you driving traffic to it? You should be if you're not. Do you have credentials? This is, again, I did a local search for financial planners. These are the different types of financial planner certifications that they can get, the credentials they can get. So if you are in any industry that has credentials of any type, it's common sense, but that should be advertised on your website, on the About Us page. It should be, might even think, what else can I add to my credentials just to help me with credibility issues if that's something you're struggling with. Not everyone struggles with that, but keep that in mind. Clear brand. This is pretty common sense right here, pretty much common sense. This is McDonald's, for example. You know how often they have new things coming out and they have a clear message and a clear target of who they're targeting for what types of products they're rolling out. So keep that in mind with your own things. Do you have a clear brand that people don't have to sit there and sift through? Well, what is this? What are they doing? What are they selling? You make sure it's crystal clear and that there's no question about it. Obvious target market. Now, me being a male, just an example of this one, I can look at this and I don't think this is for me. I can just tell. But even if it was for fishermen, I'm not a fisherman. Or if it was for football, NFL or something, I don't watch NFL. So I would know what it is within a second. Is there an obvious target market that you should be attracting? And what are you doing to get in front of them? That is a very, very strong technique to have the design of your home page or landing pages if you're using landing pages. But keep that in mind, the obvious target market. Narrow it down, narrow your niche, because you might have heard there's riches and niches. All right, your About Us page. A little while ago, I was asking you about if you've written a book. This is a lady named Shelly Hitz. And I love it underneath where it says it all started in 5th grade. He says, I was first paid for my writing in 5th grade after winning a nonfiction. And she goes on and on. But this is a lady that I learn a lot from as far as training, like techniques on how to sell through using a book. There are so many awesome ways to build credibility, build a list, have respect, and make sales with a book. And that's something that, if, again, if it's in your mind or if you thought about it, don't put that out. Your About Us page can be written so funny and creatively. It makes someone feel like, you know what, I like this person, I like this guy, or I like this girl, just by the way you have your About Us page written. So don't underestimate. Just because everyone has one doesn't mean it all has to be the same. So keep that in mind. And with the same thing, contact us page. This is Publix, which is a grocery store here in Florida, and they have a very good base. It's a basic contact page, so you can go to Maps, you can get email, you've got Facebook link, you've got everything right there for social media. The point is that how many different ways do you have them to reach out to you? Think about that. How many different ways? Is it in the way that they feel most comfortable? Some people prefer to call. Some people prefer to email. Some people want to hang out on Facebook. Are you making it easy for them? Video and audio welcome. This is Gary Vaynerchuk. He is a major name in marketing right now. And basically on his page, you can see right there, you can hit play, and he's got a video that introduces himself and what he does and what he's for, and what you get for hanging out on his website and signing up. So what ways can you take video and audio and welcome guests? Think about that, because you should know the statistics are through the roof of people that will watch and consume a video. You don't want to waste that. A way for people to give money. Now, if you've got, and this means nonprofits, for example, or foundation, if you've got something that's near and dear to your heart, this is an example of Newman's Own, the salad dressing company, and they have their own foundation. So if you don't have a foundation, which is a whole nother level of marketing, then you should think what is near and dear to your heart, and coming back similar to the one in the community, what types of services can you provide or can you help with? But that's the whole point, is a lot of times people will only do business with people that give back to the community. So keep that in the back of your head. If there's something like the Red Cross or the Goodwill or any of those majors, or the Humane Society, and connecting them to your site will tremendously help out. Again, over time, but it's one more thing to add up. Unique selling proposition. That's called a USP. That is a very powerful thing. When someone comes to your site, is there a reason? Like the way Dan Kennedy explains it is, he says, why should someone do business with me or with you versus not doing anything with anyone at all, including them not even taking any action? So why should they choose you over your competition, including not doing anything at all? That's the answer that you want to have answered, and show off to anyone in this that's coming to your site. So an example he loves to talk about is Domino's Pizza. You notice that Domino's Pizza started with 30 minutes or it's free. And the funny thing about that is, still to this day, they never said it's the best pizza. They said it's fast pizza. They never said it's from Mama's old recipe or something like that. They just said it's there quick. So they knew their target market. When they started, it was around colleges. They knew they just wanted something to eat quick. So they solved that. That unique selling proposition was something no one else offered. So what is something no one else offers in your industry? What is the number one reason that someone would want to do business with you? If you don't know the answer to that, then we need to take time and figure that out. Don't you agree? All right, RSS feed. This is pretty basic. This is just having a feed into your site that is similar to like the news feed that we saw earlier. Next one is new products or services. This is an example of Wendy's. They're constantly having new items come out, just like McDonald's, but they make it very easy. They don't make it difficult. If you have a new product or service you're offering, is it buried on the back of the last page of services section, or is it halfway down with pictures? I mean, think about it. How difficult do you let new things, products and services be found on your website? Are they spotlighted, like on the homepage? If not, why not? Next, search engine optimization. This is something I don't like to go too deep in because it's always changing. But if you look at this, most people know that on the very top, that's paid ads from Google. And on the side, they don't do that so much anymore, but that's paid ad from Google. So organic is about the fourth or fifth link normally that's down from the top. Nobody's going to come to page 2, 3, and 4. Almost all business is done on the first page of Google, so your goal should be to get there. There are hundreds and hundreds of factors in place, so it's way too much to talk about in slides, but it's worth mentioning because I want you to sit down with whoever your web developer is and ask them, what can I be doing to get SEO working better for me? That's something you don't want to overlook. Analytics, you want to definitely have a way to measure things. You want to be able to measure who is coming, where are they coming from? Is it from social media? Is it from Google? Is it from another directory or another search engine? The reason you want to know where things are coming from and how many are converting is so you can grow with that. You can spend more time targeting where they're coming from and turning off things that are not relevant. So you want to know all types of analytics, and that's worth sitting down and going over a strategy that's going to be able to optimize or make better everything you're doing. Next is relevant and strong outbound links. This is an example of a ketogenic 25 best low carb and ketogenic diet blogs. That's a blog post. If you look underneath where the 30 years in blue is, that ad, there's like 4 links. There's one that says Keto Adapted, the Keto Cookbook, Quick and Easy Ketogenic Cooking. Each one of those links link out to other either internal articles or articles of other sources that are in this industry, in this niche. That's strong because it's a way for you to have people coming from other articles to this page and also to keep them reading if it is your blog. But then also it's ways from people that are searching similar blog posts that can find you. So this is a very, very good strategy that you don't want to underestimate. Controversial content. Well, with the way that politics are going on right now, it's not hard. I used Alex Jones as an example. He's got some very controversial topics that he goes through. And the more controversial you are, yes, it's true you're going to push some people away, but you're going to attract some people even closer and closer to you. So it's worth checking out who your target market is. Who's spending money with you? Who do you want to attract? Where are they at? And what are they reading? And then give it to them. So keep all that in mind as you create a content strategy for marketing to your niche. That's something that you cannot overlook. Headshot photo. This is Mike Koenig's. He had a company called Traffic Geyser. Now it's Publish and Profit. And he also has another one called Go Live and Profit. This is a great person to learn from for video marketing and also how to market with your book, like I mentioned earlier. But look at his beautiful headshot he's got right there. You know, it's right there on his homepage. So keep this in mind. Have you taken the time to pay a professional photographer for your headshot on your business card and on your homepage? Also, is it something that really pops out? And does it look fresh and clean and everything that you would want it to represent for your brand? If not, write that down and let's work on it because that's one of the many things that are definitely a big deal for a lot of people whenever they want to visit someone. Promotional offer. This is an obvious. See, it says 20% off site-wide, back to school. That's the reason they're offering that promotion. Something very obvious. If there's a time of year that things go on sale in your industry, if there's an activity or an event or a holiday or whatever, is there something relevant that you need to be planning to promote? Keep that in mind as we go through. Referral or affiliate program. This is an example. I think this one's from Ulta. Yeah, it's from Ulta. This is their affiliate program. In your industry, odds are there's many, many things, whether it be Amazon or any other programs of affiliates that you can sign up to sell and promote through links, Or you can create your own affiliate program depending on your industry and your offerings. So if it's a product or services, that's something that people can sign up as your affiliate. That's something to keep in mind also. And just entertain that thought. Is there some money to be made here? That's something only you would know, but you have to open that door of your mind and get creative. So there's two ways to do an affiliate or referral program: being the referrer or being the referee. So which one would work for you? Next is internet security. I highly recommend that you sit down with your person, whoever your IT guy is that you trust, that's knowledgeable. I also would recommend getting a second opinion. Even if that's your cousin or your brother or your best friend, you want to get a second opinion because that's how serious this is. It's no slam against that person, but you need to get everything covered. Look at this right here. There's a lot of things that can be detrimental to your company online because most of your business is going to be doing or is going to be online. So you want to be protected. Next is fast load times. I love this image right here. A 1 second delay can be costing you 7% in conversions and 11% fewer page views, but ultimately 16% less customer satisfaction. So think about this. A 1 second delay because you wanted to be cheap on your hosting or whoever built your site doing it right, most likely, will cost you less conversions, meaning less people that will come and opt in or buy from your site, and 11% page views, meaning Google's not, because Google's going to decide who gets up on the top few with the SEO, like we mentioned before. If it's going to cost you because Google knows your load time, and you get slid down to the bottom, which ultimately also is going to cost 16% on average customer satisfaction. So you're losing in a lot of factors. This is another conversation to sit down with your SEO guy or your IT guy or whoever that is that does this stuff. It's not worth just letting it slide by thinking it'll work out, because it won't work out. I want you to think of this proactively and not reactively. And finally, I saved this intentionally for the last one. Visually interesting. Basically a sexy, cool design. It is so easy when starting out to make that your first. I want a really cool website that looks great. Well, if you're missing all these other 47 elements, then what good is it? So I saved this one for last because, of course, obviously, you want to have it looking great. But keep in mind as you go through this that you want to make sure that it's not at the expense of all the other techniques that we went through. So please, please take these things very seriously. Do not get overwhelmed. It's so easy to sit back and be like, oh my gosh, there's so many things wrong with my site, or so many things I'm not working on, you know? So start with a few of these changes and gradually implement more. All right? Make an action plan. That's what it comes down to. If you have an action plan, then it's a set plan of attack that you're going to get this thing setting up and running. Even if some of it costs money and you can only do one or two things a month, plan it out for the next 6 months to a year. So the point is taking action. And your gifts should be in your inbox right now. Thank you very much for staying till the end. I wanted to also encourage you, if there's some notes that you took and you have questions, which odds are you will, because we did cover a lot, or if there's things that we didn't cover and you want to get on the phone with us, I highly recommend you use that link and schedule your 30-minute consult. It's the website critique. And that right there will give us a chance to go through. And remember how I also mentioned time? So I would encourage you not to put this off, because if you put it off for a month, what could we have gotten to work on together, or what could we have brought to your attention now, today, tomorrow, this week, that could have had a huge effect on business next week and the week after? So I just don't want to do like a hard sale to get. That's not what my goal is. My goal is, if it makes sense for you to help, for us to help you by getting on the phone, then let's do that. All right. If not, I hope you got a lot out of this presentation. And I hope that if you need anything in the future, you can definitely go to bizcentral.com and give us a call. And also, please comment below and let us know, how did you like today's training? What did you learn? Maybe one thing that you learned out of this that you didn't know before. And more importantly, what is something else you're struggling with that we don't know, that you don't know the answer to, something that we can work on together, and that the future trainings that we work on will address that problem. So let us know those problems, and that way we can get it going. But thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for staying to the end, and please don't forget to check your